So let's talk about a little bit of this journey they've been on in the past 3 years in terms of your jujitsu evolution, in terms of your thinking. Because, back when we were talking before, obviously there was some very sound principles in terms of like defensive jujitsu and everything that you were doing there and all the benefits that we are getting from that. And your view has, in your training modality, your learning, all that has changed quite a bit, or evolved, I should say. And now I hear you discussing a lot about these ecological principles and constraint-led approach and these games and things like that. How did that path evolve for you?
So I'm still trying to figure it out, what it is. I think I thought about it for a year before I started it last year, August. I have some, private one private call list with Greg Souders. We had some private Instagram messages back and forth. And I don't know why I felt in August, I was like, let's do it. Maybe I know. It was still a mess to start. Actually, the beginning of this why and how it creeped in this constraint-led, I don't remember. But however it was I saw what it could fix compared to what I did. Because I know the methods we've used had certain issues that we always dealt with, and I didn't know at the time how to fix them. And then when we saw the eco approach, then right away certain things were like, now it makes sense. And that the method right away fixed those issues. The issues was always talking about resistance, that 30%, 40%, 50%, even advanced guys, sometimes they don't get it. And what is 75? And even, it's even harder when I talk to beginners. I'll go to 55%, and it sounds good to say it, but then in a practice, it's actually quite difficult. And then with a constrained approach, we just don't talk about it ever. It's just you constrain the game more to like lower because the resistance is lower if the game is more constrained and stuff. So it's safer. So that went away. And really big thing for me was that we had a okay method, I would say. We were not in a gym that you do a warm-up 30 minutes, then you do 3 techniques out of your ass, and then you drill, then you roll. We did progressive resistance drilling. We had some 8 to 10 minute warm-up. We had 20-minute section of the instruction, and then we drilled half an hour with resistance, and we called that progressive resistance. And then we also rolled. So it was still like a heavy training in that sense. We tried to resist and try to understand this, But the problem with the progressive resistance is also, like I said, 55%, nobody knows. But let's say there's people that don't know, and then I have to kind of control them all the time. It's kind of annoying after many years, And even if it's same people all the time. And what I think was those kind of method, one person was always training other person. If you were learning the armbar, I was always one that was giving the resistance and you were trying to do arm bars. So kind of like in my head, one was always holding pad to the other one, and then you switched. But then you wasted also half of the class because you were holding pads for other person. And with this constrained approach, both people have tasks. Depends if both people have, but maybe you fix one task and develop other person up, but their task stays the same, but they still have a very realistic task that keeps the game somewhat representative. So that was the big thing, that both can work in the same class. They have different ideas and different tasks. And so that was a big thing. I was like, oh shit, that makes so much sense. And the resistance out of the window, I have nobody talking about it. We just go. And then tasks. So basically, we stopped doing warm-ups also. I'm not against warm-ups because maybe, let's say, if you have a sparring class, the intensity goes up right away. I think you need a warm-up because you need kind of, even before competition, you need a warm-up because you need that first adrenaline dump. But regular classes, if the games are constrained and safe and everything, you can start right away with some games. Maybe you kill some representativeness, but you can start right away pretty close to what you want to do, and it's live, and So we stopped doing warm-ups in regular classes. So it's basically full 1 hour doing jiu-jitsu and then half an hour rolling with those tasks in mind, also in sparring. So that's been really, really awesome in that sense. And I still, I have to read some books and stuff. I would say I'm a lazy approach because I want to teach. And I want to run into some problems with teaching, and then reading about it makes sense, So if you just get all the information and you don't have that context, then it's might be hard to understand. But I want to teach, then I'm reading, and then I'm teaching again mostly, and then I'm trying to solve it and figure out. If I can't, then I can read something. So I'm slow with the reading part, but obviously I have to do it. And also academic literature goes very far that actually in somewhat it's not anymore relevant to the mat. So they're discussing already like some high level shit that's really doesn't matter anymore for the mat, for rolling and for teaching. But philosophically, I think those conversations are important, but to the degree they're relevant to the mat. And so that's been very fun. And I'm trying to wrap my head around stuff and see how different people use this method and have all kinds of aha moments. And so that's been very, very fun. And the whole gym changed, so to speak. Tom is doing that, Rolla is doing this, so it wasn't like only me, but we wanted to like change it, and so it was all of us right away on board. So we're always looking for ways to improve, better methods, and I know some gyms, one guy wants to do it, other black belts are against it, and so we didn't have that problem at all because we're always looking for better ways, and it was like a quite easy change in that sense. It was difficult in a very many way, but it was like, oh, we have to do it because it's better. But to actually do it, and because first of all, I was very critical about the eco message, because I think the message was really weird because, you can't show anything, you can't say anything, everything has to emerge. I'm kind of butchering the message right now, but kind of this is how it felt. And then we were super confused. Can we show anything? How do we make this emerge, that emerge? So the message was really aggressive that if you even say or show anything, it's not eco anymore. And I was like, well, how the hell I'm going to do it? And now we know so much more that you can say things, you can show things, you can be prescriptive, less prescriptive. It's just the effect you want to have and when and how is important and blah, blah, blah. And now it's even more gray. Before it was like a solid something, like you can do this, and it sounds like a solid method. But I'm not trying to like say it's not a solid method, but it's really like a vague. It's like you can do this, you can do that. You can tell people, you not tell people, you can figure it out. You can, and it's like you can do everything. You just have to feel and read the group, So I have my own couple of definitions that I use that are stolen from other people. Let's say Francesco Fonte, my good friend, is like, it says information is information. It's when and how you deliver it. Kittel said, you teach a technique when they don't have to drill it. And it took me a while to understand it, but it was like, oh my God, this is wonderful. And so you get them to the point that the context is there, and then you show it, and then they kind of get it right away. They don't have to like do a lot of those dead repetitions. And I think it's really awesome in that sense. And still information is coming out about eco, what's invariance, basically what you should teach invariance, mostly what's, things that never change. And they're different. There's global invariance, there's like local invariance, but more information is kind of creeping out, about things what you can teach, and that also makes it easier. Different people are asking more smart questions, and also we see more people teaching this way and different kind of handwritings about it, Clearly there's Craig Souders, and it's very, very thorough, and he's been teaching this a while, and then other coaches done this and that, and you go like, oh, interesting. I would maybe disagree with that. It's interesting. My interest is now I want to see different people teaching using this method. For me, again, like I use Ed Ingamel's, like what he said, UK guy, really, I look up to him when it comes to the method. Said, in 10 years, we will have a new method that maybe explains something else, and then we evolve again. We can't be stuck in that eco again. And so right now, it helps. There's a purpose. It helps. It guides us, but we can't be stuck to that. Maybe they figure out something else, and then we move. But we shouldn't change because of the change. We should change because there's a reason for a change. So right now, this eco and constraint-led approach clearly helps. It helps to define certain things, helps to explain certain behaviors, and that's why it's useful. But we can't also be like eco-purist and get stuck, and this is it, and, So it has to be very careful of, it cannot be a cult again, that, because there's some uncertainty also in that method, and there's a deep level science there. And scientists try to figure it out. There's some competing theories and stuff. And so it's been interesting in that sense. And I feel like I'm excited about coaching, but because being a coach 24 years, it's a little bit like, oh, you go to work and you do the same stuff, not a bad method. But now I'm like, oh, shit, I don't know what to do. And there's some stuff I have to figure it out. And it has made it really interesting again. I like put some fire on me also. So it's really cool.